Shante, thank you much. Today is National Fentanyl Prevention and Awareness Day. It's a day to remember the lives lost to fentanyl poisoning and shed light on the ongoing opioid crisis. This year alone, the DEA has seized nearly 30 million fentanyl pills and more than 5,600 pounds of fentanyl powder across the country. That is enough to provide a deadly dose to every person in the U.S., Canada, and Mexico. We're joined now by Brian McNeal from the DEA office here in Detroit and Robert Branner, who unfortunately knows the heartbreak these drugs can cause. Robert, you're here from Detroit. You lost your daughter Destiny to an overdose 2 years ago, correct?
Correct.
Okay, we'll start with you, and I'm sorry to start tugging on your heartstrings right off the bat here, but can you kind of walk us through what that's been like and what happened with your daughter?
First of all, it's been a difficult 2 years dealing with her loss. The day she passed away, I remember texting her that Saturday morning about my granddaughter. And then later on that evening, I got a call from her mother. Her mother was actually there when Detroit EMS was working on her. So by that time, I'm asking her questions, hey, what are they doing? Because she called screaming and hollering, hey, Terrell, she's not breathing. So I'm like, okay, what are they doing? She said they were in there doing CPR and stuff on her. Got her to Beaumont Hospital in Dearborn and went into the grieving room, and they told her that they did everything they could, but unfortunately they lost her. And that devastated me.
I can't imagine. And please forgive my question here, but did you have any inkling? Was she involved in drugs before? Is this something that you were unaware of?
No, not that my knowledge that she was ever doing drugs.
Which probably is one of the difficult parts for you.
Yes.
To wrap your mind around not only what's happening, and then from your side of things, the challenge that we're seeing now, and please correct me if I'm wrong here, is that fentanyl gets laced into so many things, and that even, I don't want to couch it this way, but there's no safe drug, but the drugs that are used can be even more deadly, and people don't even know it.
Yeah, the story that Robert shared, it happens all too often. There's a misnomer that you have to be a career drug user for you to overdose, and that's not the case. Right. Just 2 milligrams of fentanyl can provide a lethal dose, so a one-time use could definitely end your life.
So, and I also hate to ask this question, but why is this so prevalent now? Why is it on the uptick here, and why is it even used?
One word, and that word is greed. Fentanyl is extremely cheap to make. It doesn't require a growing season like a heroin or a cocaine. So as long as you have the chemicals and the know-how in the facility, you can make as much as you want. It's cheap and it just stretches your profits.
So the dealers then don't care that it's killing all these people?
The drug cartels do not care whatsoever. They just have a bottom line. That bottom line is money, and if they have to kill thousands of Americans to do so, then so be it, unfortunately.
Yeah. So, Robert, going back to Destiny and what you have been through, I know that you spend your time now kind of spreading awareness and talking about that. How quickly were you able to kind of turn your grief into a mission?
I want to say a few months after it happened. My wife, the type of job that she did, she connected me with the Oakland County Sheriff. They had a town hall meeting on the fentanyl crisis. And that's where I met the group that I'm a part of, Fentanyl for Fathers. And so once I hooked up with them, then, I was able to go and speak at different schools, letting them know the awareness and the grief that it causes when a child passes away from fentanyl. So, and it's kind of like therapy for me to deal with. But like I said, it's a difficult.
Right. You'd mentioned a grandson. So did Destiny leave behind a child then?
Destiny left 2 children behind. Matter of fact, she had a child a month before she passed away.
Oh my gosh. So girls, boys?
Girls.
2 girls.
Yes.
2 girls. What is your message now then? And especially if I'm out of my lane here, tell me here, but my understanding is that there's a misnomer that overdoses and things like this are more prevalent in the white community than the black community. But this affects the black community just as much.
Yes, it does.
Do you see those numbers?
Yeah, talking to some of our partners in Detroit, believe it or not, the biggest jump in groups is black men over the age of 35.
Really?
Which I found surprising, but that's according to statistics in the city of Detroit. That is the biggest rising group.
Yeah. Okay, so I know there is not a solution, right? I mean, you spent your entire career fighting drugs, and like there's no one answer here. But what can we do to try to get these numbers down a little bit, or at least help people understand that this is much more dangerous than people really get?
Well, the big one is awareness and education. If we can provide people with the proper information, they can make a choice for themselves that is a healthy choice. And just having those conversations at the dinner table. It's back to school season. Yeah. Sit down with your kids and tell them, the time for experimentation is over. It can end your life.
Yeah, and that's, again, we're walking such a fine line here, because I don't want to say, use these drugs, don't use these drugs, right? But those who are using sometimes don't even realize. We talked about the cartels and dealers using fentanyl for the additional high, but they don't even know sometimes that this has been laced into what they're taking.
Very few users are actually seeking fentanyl. That's why we refer to these deaths as poisonings, because an overdose is too much of a substance. A poisoning is ingesting a substance that that ends your life. Right, so we're finding these drugs and everything. Fentanyl's in methamphetamine, in cocaine. Even anecdotally, we've heard fentanyl accidentally being mixed with marijuana, because these organizations are poly-drug. So they don't necessarily have a separate table. There's no quality control in a in a drug
There's
house.
no clean lab. They're working. Right?
No one in a white coat is walking around these houses. So a lot of times these drugs can get mixed with marijuana, and then you can have an accidental exposure to fentanyl that way.
And is there anything we can do to test it before? I don't know how to phrase this question, but before you do the other legal drug?
Well, there are things like fentanyl test strips, but if a user is testing, let's say, some pills, and you test one pill, you're like, oh, good to go. The next pill might be the one that has the fentanyl. 5 out of 10 pills contain, 5 out of 10 counterfeit pills contain a lethal dosage of fentanyl. So pill A may be good, but pill B could be the one that has the fentanyl. So testing drugs, before use might not necessarily be the best way of moving forward.
This must be very frustrating for you and all of your colleagues when you see so many people dying that just made a mistake and didn't know there was fentanyl laced in something.
I traveled throughout Michigan and Ohio speaking to parents, and a lot of times as a kid, it's a one-time use. Trying to cram for an exam, you pop a Percocet to get.
So we're not
boost.
talking about your career drug users here.
No. A lot of times it's just that college student who wants to do better in school, or that mom who needs a little boost of energy, and then unfortunately they order a pill online, which you just shouldn't do, and that pill contains a lethal dose of fentanyl, and they pass.
Gotcha. So going back to Destiny, then, what was the story with her? If you don't mind sharing, or do we know, how she got those and the why?
She was with, when it happened, she was actually with my other daughter, her sister. And her sister was at home, but she went with some friends of hers. And I don't know how they exactly, who they purchased it from, but I know that they went, got the drugs, came back home to my other daughter's house, took a Percocet that she thought, that she didn't even know it was laced. And from my understanding, that was her first time using it, and it took her out of here.
I have a difficult time asking all these questions, so again, I apologize, but how are you able to manage? Because for me as a father, I would be angry.
I was very angry. My mindset is, as a father, Destiny was my second oldest child, my oldest girl. She was the daddy's girl.
Yeah.
And losing her, especially to this, it's like, okay, I got to do something.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, let me just do it in a positive way.
Right.
You know.
Right. So on that note then, there are lots of people watching right now, and I'm hoping lots of fathers and mothers and grandmas and grandpas, aunts and uncles, everybody. What do you say to anybody who has a child, both of you, about what to do and what to watch for?
As a father and a parent, talk to your children. Let them know that you don't have to go to drugs, as a coping mechanism to deal with whatever issue that you have going on. Love on them. Let them know that, if they're going through something, they can come to you and talk to you.
Right. Yeah. Keep those lines
Right.
always open.
And just love on them.
What are your thoughts?
I give this speech in schools throughout Michigan and Ohio, and I tell the kids, they might not be locked in the entire time. It's like, if you only take one thing from me, take this. The only pill you should take is a pill given to you by your doctor, obtained at a legitimate pharmacy. There is not a legitimate pharmacy on social media. There is not a legitimate pharmacy online. Only take a pill given to you by your doctor and obtained at a pharmacy.
Especially, and just to make the final point, that one-time thing could kill you. When you're just looking for that extra boost to get through that studying session, it could be the end of it.
It could.
Okay. You guys, thank you so much. This is very eye-opening, and I know, especially for you, very painful, but thank you so much for sharing everything, and thanks for your time.
Thanks for having us.